Hello friends, YouTube and motorcycle enthusiasts. This is Accelerate, out here trying to enjoy another wonderful, bright and sunny day on motorcycles. So today I wanted to show my wife's 2015 Honda 750cc Shadow. We went out for some lunch, met some friends, told her I'd run to the store for her, and figured, hey, perfect time to do a quick review and walk around of the bike. So this is 2015, a new leftover from the factory, 2015, that we got down from a dealership in Mississippi, same dealership I got my FZ09 from. So, you know, I really like this bike, and she absolutely loves it. So she loves the color. I do too. It really pops in the sun. Looks fantastic. Really fun, sweet little bike. So let's hop on it. We'll take a ride. I'll talk a little bit about it. So first of all, the first thing I notice is how low the seat is, which makes it fantastic for shorter riders. I want to say that this is like a, man, it's like a 28-inch seat maybe. It's pretty short. It does really well for that reason. It's not a big bike for a cruiser. It's actually a little bit small for me. As far as how it rides and handles, really good. You know, this is not sure when the Shadows went to fuel injected, but this is a fuel injected bike, which is, many of you that know me know that I am a huge fan of fuel injection on motorcycles. It's just, it really helps eliminate some of the hassle that you can have with carburetors. You know, it's not that carburetors are terrible. They've worked for decades. It's a lot of it too, you got to realize, is the fuel in the mid-2000s, I want to say around 2005, 2006, they started adding ethanol, 10% ethanol to the pumps, and, that ethanol is extremely corrosive, so it causes problems over time, to where fuel injection, it can affect it, but it's much less. So as I ride the bike, obviously it's a cruiser, it shifts extremely well. One thing you may notice here, I got the clock pulled up, boom, I don't know if you can see that, 168 miles on this thing. So we got it in around November of last year, and then with moving and just being extremely busy, we haven't had a chance to really do a lot of riding, or she hasn't rather. She's ridden before. She had a 500 Shadow before, and the 500 was a 5-speed, and that really was limiting on the highway. This thing, no problem whatsoever. This thing can cruise 75 mile an hour easily. So it's really nice. Now, as far as the height, like I mentioned before, it's a shorter bike, but as far as the pegs go, like you can kind of see, I'm about excuse me, I'm about 6 foot, maybe 6'1" on a good day if I'm stretching. So it's a little cramped for me. I know a lot of people do highway pegs off of the crash bars, which I would benefit from, but I mean, it's not, when I say it's a little cramped, it's definitely not a tight ride by any means. It's still very comfortable to ride. The suspension, as you imagine, is extremely plush for being a cruiser. At the same token, it is plush, but it also rides my wife and I very well. So, I'm probably about 215 pounds. I'm not going to guess her weight, but she's average size for female. She's about 5'5". and you know, so it rides just fine. It doesn't bounce around or anything. Now right there, you probably noticed I got on the brakes a little bit. So the brakes are good, surprisingly. You know, this is a heavier bike. I want to say they weigh in at around 530 pounds. And I'm just guessing. I'll throw the stats up somewhere around here whenever I actually look it up. But you know, it's not a super heavy bike for a cruiser, but it's also not extremely light either. So, you know, this is obviously way heavier than my FZ09 or most other sport bikes. So it is 750cc fuel injected, as I mentioned before. So as far as the power goes, it's got plenty of get up. I mean, it is a V-twin, and as many of you know, V-twins are known for their torque, that initial get up and go grunt. As far as the top end goes, you know, it's not terrible. Because it has so few miles on it, you know, I am taking it kind of easy. I don't really rev it out. I mean, there's really no reason to anyway. The bike does exactly what it needs to. I mean, I'm just chugging along right now. You know, I'm almost 64 mile an hour, and I'm going to actually turn around right here as I get on the brakes. Whoop, pretty easy. I mean, this thing, it handles and brakes extremely well. Just loop around here. Handles and brakes extremely well for what it is, you know, and that's one of the things a lot of people complain about with cruisers is, you know, that performance aspect isn't there, you know, so you're braking a heavier machine and whatnot. But, you know, this thing's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's definitely safe. And, you know, the lighter the rider, it's only going to get better. You know, you're stopping less weight, so on and so forth. But, as far as the fuel mileage on this thing's pretty good. I want to say this thing gets over 60 miles to the gallon. It's only got a couple gallon fuel tank, maybe, I think, 2.2. But again, I'll put the stats up around here somewhere. So it does good. One thing my wife complains about is there is no fuel gauge. There is a low fuel light that you can see here. But you know, it's one of those things to where it's a nicety, but it does have a low fuel light, and of course it has an odometer on the main cluster there in the middle. So you can, you know, gauge it with your mileage and so on and so forth. So, you know, it's still not bad. But yeah, the instrumentation is pretty basic, as I mentioned before. I'm not sure which road I took. I have a feeling that was my road. The instrumentation's pretty basic. You know, you got a speedo, you've got a clock here at the bottom, and that has 2 trip meters. So if I can change it, stay on your side, Broheen. So there's odometer, trip meter 2, and then back to the clock. So yeah, it's, you know, it's very basic, nice big speedo. I do like my gauge instrumentation up a little higher so I can just glance down so I don't have to turn my head. But, you know, being a taller rider, you know, for her it's probably not a big deal. But yeah, as far as the comfort, we had a Mustang seat put on that you probably saw in the beginning. It's not a factory seat. You know, the Mustang seat was worth its weight for her, especially. She really likes it. And, you know, if you're going to be doing any kind of amount of riding, having a comfortable seat's very nice. You know, the factory seat, like most bikes, is pretty lacking. You know, it is what it is. It's one of those components that they're going to save money with. You know, they're not going to be able to do all the decked out stuff that you could do. I got a bug in my face shield. Later. Haha, gone. So yeah, but overall the reach, being again about 6 foot 6'1", is very comfortable, you know, and for her it's perfect. You know, she can flat foot this bike. She has no problems reaching the controls. You know, and obviously because this is a traditional handlebar style motorcycle, you can always tilt the controls with the cable link that you have to play with. You can move things around a little bit if you wanted to. But overall, she's extremely pleased with it. So as I mentioned, it's a 2015, and you know, they stopped making the 750s in 2015. 2015 was the last year for it. Hey, buddy. So we bought this bike late 2016, and the dealer that I bought my FZ09 at, you know, he knew that we were interested in a Shadow for her, and we had actually went and picked up an 1100 Sabre Shadow that had a crazy amount of miles, but we got it for cheap, you know, just to see what she thought about it and such. And it was a little too big for her, but we had that for a couple days, and I think I went back to the dealership, and I was picking something up. I think I bought a helmet, and they had it on order or something, and sure enough, he had this thing. It wasn't even completely assembled, you know, it was still in the crate, but he took us in the back and showed us. As soon as she saw it, she lit up. So it was absolutely the color. That's that dark ruby red. She loves this color. She actually now has a truck and a car and this bike all pretty much in the same matching color. So she really likes the darker red, and you know, it's like she said, it would be the exact bike that she wanted. And because it was a brand new 2015, the last year, fuel injected, you know, so we plopped down the money for it. So this bike was out the door, I want to say 76 or 78 out the door. So, you know, they're not giving them away, but at the same time, you know, well worth the money. You know, it is a Honda. It's just like a Yamaha. It's going to run and run and run forever. And also, it's low maintenance, you know, with the fuel injection. You know, like most of the Shadows, it is shaft driven. So, you know, change that shaft oil, every other oil change. And the maintenance on this thing is extremely low. You know, which is perfect for her because, you know, she doesn't always have a chance to ride as much as she'd like, and you know, it's perfect. It's perfect for her. So, but anyways, guys, I just wanted to do a quick video here on the Honda 750cc Shadow. I really enjoy riding this bike. You know, we take it out together quite a bit. It carries us around well. And, you know, it's just one more bike in the stable that we enjoy riding. And hopefully we'll see some more in the future. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Try to get out there, get on two wheels while the sun is shining. And, you know, take care, y'all. This is Accelerate, signing off.